In a room like this, Jesus shared his very last meal with his disciples. And in that moment, what they thought was tragedy turns into triumph. Welcome to the upper room. Hi, I'm Patrick with Traverse Christian Church, and I want to invite you to be a part of our online services on Sunday, April 12th, this coming Easter at 9 and 10:30 a.m. We'll see you then.
Good morning, church. So glad you guys are here to worship with us today. I've got a bit of a team with me, and we are ready to lead you guys into worship through the internet. So let's begin today. Sing with us. When darkness tries to roll over my bones, when sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, oh, I won't be shaken. Oh, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Shame no longer has a place to hide. I am not a captive to the lies. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. Oh, I won't be shaken. Oh, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. There's power that can break off every chain. There's power that can empty out the grave. There's resurrection power that can save. There's power in your name. There's power in your name. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Stand in your love. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, your perfect love is casting out fear. And even when I'm caught in the middle of the storms of this life, I won't turn back, I know you are near. And I will fear no evil, for my God is with me. And if my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, you never let go. Through the calm and through the storm, oh no, you never let go. Every high and every low, oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go of me. I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on. A glorious light beyond all compare. And there will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, we'll live to know you here on the earth. I will fear no evil, for my God is with me. If my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, you never let go. Through the calm and through the storm, oh no, you never let go. Every high and every low, oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go of me. I can see the light. I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on. there will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, still I will praise you, still I will praise you. Oh, I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on. There will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, still I will praise you, still I will praise you. You never let go. Oh no, you never let go. Through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. Every high and every low. Oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go of me. I'm so thankful that no matter what goes on in life, no matter what is happening, our God never leaves us. He will never forsake us. He is always there in times of need and in times of trouble, in times of fear and anxiety. Our God is always there. I want you guys to know that today. Typically, this is the time that we would do like a meet and greet time where you would handshake, high five, hug somebody. But today, just give yourself a fist bump like that, and then go to your keyboards, okay, and then greet everyone that's here. Let us know you're here. Comment below. Say, hey, we just want to hear from you today. So just take that moment and do that today. Thank you.
You can always expect the unexpected on the Newlywed Game.
Hey, good morning, Traverse. Welcome to the Newlywed Game. That's right, we're going to wrap up our series on real marriage by playing a game with 4 lovely couples. Some of them are not newlywed at all, and some of them are very much newlywed. So we're going to get started with some questions. First up, it is the wife round. Let's do this. All right, ladies, what would your husband say is his biggest pet peeve? First up is Patrick and Hannah. How long have you guys been married?
22 blissful years.
22 blissful. Fantastic. Let's see how well you know each other. All right, wives, remember, we asked you, what would your husband say his biggest pet peeve is? Hannah, what's your husband's biggest pet peeve? Being late, not on time. Patrick, is she right? She's late! Hey, we got a winner! All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up is Kyle and Olivia Myers. You can see by the smiles on their face, this is going to be a good one. But first, Kyle, tell us how long you and Olivia have been married.
So we've been married 9 years.
Wow, fantastic. All right, Kyle, you tell us, what is your biggest pet peeve? Oh, clutter and talking too much. Apparently, Liv just doesn't shut her yapper. Okay, our next couple up here is Luke and Nicole. Luke and Nicole, tell us a little bit about your marriage.
We've been married 8 months. It's felt like 2 minutes, but underwater.
Fantastic! 2 minutes underwater without scuba gear. Yes, I know the feeling. Sorry, Meg. All right, Nicole, what would you say is your husband's biggest pet peeve? Loud noises. Okay, Luke. Loud noises. We got one, guys. Give them all a round of applause. Yay. All right, our fourth and final couple up here in the wife round of questions is Steve and Shannon. Steve, go ahead and tell us about your marriage.
It's awesome.
Fantastic. How long have you guys been married?
We have been married just over 7 years.
Awesome. Very good. Congrats. So, Shannon, what would you say is your husband's biggest pet peeve? That I'm a Seminole fan. That's right, as displayed on her shirt that you can't see right now. There it is. There it is. Steve, what's your biggest pet peeve? Unfinished projects. Ooh, there could be some...
Like the Seminoles.
Wives, what is one thing you do that drives your husband bonkers? Shannon, what is one thing you do that drives your husband bonkers? Interrupt his phone or TV show. That is a big no-no, big no-no. Hey, Steve, what's something that she does that drives you bonkers?
Yes, let's find out.
Lists and chores. Lists and chores. Fantastic. All right. What is one thing you do, Nicole, that drives your husband bonkers? Worry more about the dog than him. We got brutal honesty here in the house. Oh, and Luke pulls it out with loves the dog more than me. This marriage is built on a strong canine foundation. You know what I mean? Hey, Olivia, what is one thing you do that drives your husband bonkers? Apparently talking. That's right. If you remember our round one questions, Kyle did mention that she never quits talking. Kyle, is that true? Oh, she procrastinates. What is one thing you do that drives your husband bonkers? Run late. Ironically the same as the first round. Patrick, is she right? She's late all the time. Nailed it. Nicole, here's a good one for you. Has your husband ever cried during a movie? If so, which one was it? I can only imagine bawling in the theater. Holy cow, Luke. What? Do you care to admit this, Luke? I never cry. Has your husband ever cried in a movie? If so, which one? No, because he never stays awake. He never stays awake in a movie. Patrick? Never. I can't stay awake. Guys, that is a great example of 23 years of marriage. They know each other so well. Thank you. Has your husband ever cried in a movie? Which one was it? Jurassic World. Tough movie to cry in. Yes, Jurassic World, when Wyatt cried because the long neck got left on the bridge. You know what? That is a very disappointing moment in that movie. I feel for you, bud. Shannon, has your husband ever cried in a movie? If so, which one? Her answer is yes. Anything with sports, especially when the Gators lose to the Seminoles. I agree, that would be a tearjerker. Steve, what did you say? Toy Story 3. What a tearjerker. I love the honesty. Toy Story 3. Welcome back, everybody. We are starting on the husband round of questions. And up first in this round is Steve and Shannon. Hey, Steve, I got the first question for you right here. And it is, what is the one household chore your wife will say that you do better than she does? Manual labor? That seems Spanish. Oh, I'm sorry. Manual. Manual labor. That's right. Shannon says electronics. All right, Luke and Nicole, here we go. Round one of the husband questions. Luke, what is the one household chore your wife would say you do better than she does? His answer, cleaning the bathrooms. Nice job, bud. And Nicole agrees. Cleaning bathrooms. Thank you, Hubs. All right, round number one for the husbands, Kyle and Olivia. Kyle, what is the one household chore your wife will say you do better than she does? Grill and smoke. All right, cook. Got it. Olivia, do you agree? She says, is that a chore? Oh, and she says, picking up dog poop. Kyle, you are the best pooper scooper I know. All right, Patrick, we're on round one of the husband questions, Pat. What is the one household chore your wife, Hannah, would say you do better than she does? Pat says, mop the floors. Hannah agrees, mop the floors. Great job, great job. It's the only chore Pat does, apparently. Kyle and Olivia, question number two. What is the name of your wife's favorite store to shop at, Kyle? What would you say, Kyle? Victoria's Secret? She loves shopping there? Or do you love that she shops there? Can't get away from it. All right, all right. Olivia, do you love shopping at Victoria's Secret? Amazon Books. We are not even in the same hemisphere right now. What is the name of your wife's favorite store to shop at? Patrick says Target. Hannah, do you agree? Target is the correct answer. All right, Luke and Nicole. Luke, round two of the husband questions. What is the name of your wife's favorite store to shop at? Luke says DSW. She likes her shoes, huh? Oh, Nicole says Maurice's. Check your receipts, brother. Steve and Shannon. Steve, we're on number 2 here. What is the name of your wife's favorite retail store? Wow, he lists a laundry list of Kohl's, JCPenney, Maurice's, Shields, and Shannon. He still only gets 25% of the answer correct, but Shannon agrees that Maurice's is her favorite store. Great job, guys. Patrick, what will your wife say is her favorite time of the year? He says winter. Hannah, is that specific enough? Snowy season, winter is correct. Great job, you two. Another match. What would your wife say is her favorite time of the year? Luke says her birthday. Nicole loves Christmas. You'd be wrong, unless they're both on the same day, which would be ironic. No. Hey, Kyle, this one seems to be beating you up, but let's see what your answer is. What would you say is your wife's favorite time of the year? The lunar solstice, obviously, is her favorite time of the year. Olivia, is that correct? My birthday and Carmen's. Oh, so fantastic. Steve and Shannon. Hey, Steve, what would your wife say is her favorite time of the year? Steve says fall, football, and Christmas. What's with the multiple answers here? Shannon says football and Christmas. Oh, man. We have a match. Very specific. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our round of the Newlywed Game. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to spend some time really getting to know these couples as they share their advice in their real marriage. Come right back.
Our real marriage has not always made us happy, but it has made us holy.
Hey, Traverse, welcome back. At this time, we're going to enter a time of questions and advice given by each of these couples up here that you saw in the Newlywed Game. I hope that what you find in this series and as we wrap up Real Marriage is just some good advice from everybody who's been married like Patrick and Hannah for 23 years, all the way down to Luke and Nicole, who have been married for just 8 months. So with that, we're going to ask them a round of questions, and we'll get going from there. All right, Patrick and Hannah, as we wrap up this series called Real Marriage, we're really excited to hear from real couples about their real marriage and what advice you can share that you've learned throughout your 23 years of marriage. So with that, we'd like to ask you some questions that you would share with the rest of Traverse. So first question for you guys is, you guys both you have 2 teenagers. You have Libby and Nolan. How do you relate to your teenage son and daughter?
I've told Patrick, I almost don't feel qualified to answer that because we're definitely in the trenches still trying to figure it out as we go. But I think just like any relationship, just continuing to work at it, continuing to find ways to dialogue. One of the things that we do as a family is high-low buffalo, and the kids will roll their eyes, but it actually really does help open up dialogue with our kids. So when we sit down for dinner or actually have time, with sports and things, we don't always get the opportunity to sit down at dinner, but we'll just say, hey, what's high-low buffalo of this week or going on at school right now? And so high is, obviously what's going great. What low is things that aren't going so well, and buffalo is kind of a wild card or funny or something like that. And it just forces that extra conversation instead of, how's it going? Good. What's new? None, kind of deal. Anything?
Yeah, I think for us, and for me particularly as the dad, is to carve out specific individual time with each one of them. They're at the age where they don't like being with each other. But for just spending time with Nolan one-on-one and spending time with Libby one-on-one, that seems to be a help to really connecting with each of them.
Kyle and Olivia, before we get started with your questions, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how long you guys have been married and what your family's like at home?
So we've been married 9 years, 4 kids, all little kids. And we've been together over 10 years. And that's as far as we've made it so far.
Fantastic. Appreciate it. Well, guys, first question for you is, how do you keep your relationship strong while playing full-time parents to 4 young children? You just mentioned they're all young. Do you have time for mommy and daddy time?
I think one of the most important things that we've done is the same activity that helped us bring 4 kids into this world. In all seriousness, I think probably driven mostly by me, we continue to strive to be better, to find more connections, more hobbies, more passions together. We're always looking for that next thing to do together, or love together, or just be passionate about together.
Olivia?
Yeah, he's right. We do have to look for the next thing that we want to do together. And because our anniversary was just this week on Thursday, I was able to convince him to take dancing lessons from home with me, which was awesome. So.
At least it's in your own home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, we laugh a lot together. That is kind of our thing. I laugh at him a lot. Like, that's more of our thing. It's my favorite thing. And, but really, yeah, we do. We, like Hannah and Pat both said, it's laughing or it's crying, and sometimes both. And we laugh a lot together, and we cry a little bit together to just kind of get through all of it, so.
All right, our next couple that we have up here is Nicole and Luke Albrook. You guys shared earlier that you've been married just 8 months, and I'm sure it's been nothing but bliss, rainbows, and unicorns, right? Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you guys being here and look forward to hearing what you have to share. Not only what's happening in your marriage, but at the end of this, sharing some advice for maybe some of those folks who are newly engaged or approaching a marriage or wedding, or even the single folks. So we look forward to hearing what you have to say. The first question I have for you guys is, what has been the biggest challenge in this first 8 months of marriage that you guys have discovered?
I think some of the biggest challenges, at least for me, is I've never grown up with a female in my household. I've always had a younger brother, and then after that, I moved with my immediate family to another house, and there was a few girls in the house, my cousins, but they were never home. So I never really realized what it's like to live with a girl, especially in close quarters. So
this is real honesty, real marriage right here. I love it.
It's been challenging because you live with some roommates and some guys through college, and next thing you know, you're living with a female, and it's definitely a change. It's definitely a change for sure. So that's where I'll stop.
Thanks for your advice.
Yeah, it's definitely different living with a boy. But in the big realm of things, I think it was just I learned how selfish I was when I was single, and how much when you really do get married, it's our money, it's not my money, it's our house, it's not my house, it's our food, it's not my food. So I think that was the biggest challenge, just learning how to be not as selfish.
Let's clarify on the dog, though. Is that your dog or our dog?
My dog.
Yeah, it's her dog. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, there's a few exceptions.
Absolutely. There's big changes when you go to living together in marriage is totally different. I was in the same boat. All right, our next couple that we have up here is Steve and Shannon Wickard. Steve and Shannon, they shared earlier they've been married for 7 years, and we've invited them here today to share some advice about their real marriage because it comes in a little bit of a different form. You two both come from previous marriages and now have blended families together, each with your own children even. And, this happens more common than a lot of people know about, I guess. And so that obviously brings up some additional challenges. And we'd really love to hear from you on what advice that you have and what's kept your marriage fresh and real, and obviously what you would share with other couples that are maybe exploring the opportunity to blend families or come together. So with that, the first question for you guys is, what has been the most frustrating thing about blending your families?
I think for us, it was making sure that we were on the same page and that we weren't bringing our past expectations into our new future, not bringing things that we expected from what had happened or how we had treated somebody else, that it would follow us into the next phase of our life. So being able to kind of see a new side and be excited for all the things that we knew were in line for us.
I would agree. It is hard when you go into a new relationship after being in a previous relationship. There's obviously a reason that those previous relationships ended, and it's hard not to bring that with you and not to expect that the other person might treat you the same way that you were treated before or things like that. The other challenge, I would say, as blending with children that we faced is you have 4 parents involved instead of 2, and think about how hard it is to get you and your spouse on track for something. Now add 2 more people in that mix that might have not great feelings already going into it. So that's a bit of a challenge. It's definitely not easy, for sure.
So this next question you may think would have come up during our newlywed game, but it is, after 23 years, what pet peeve have you learned to live with? In other words, marriage isn't always unicorns and rainbows. So what pet peeve have you learned to live with, and how have you gotten through that?
Where do we start, right? No, I think there's just a lot of irritants in marriage, and the things that when you're first married you think are cute, but then they become an annoyance. And so for us just to tell each other, that annoys me and don't do that anymore, we just got to the point where we just kind of are just brutally honest, and we're okay with it. We don't push back or... Yeah, so for me, one of the things I know is a pet peeve for her, my toenails used to get real long. And I had really good intentions to trim them and cut them, but I would put my socks and shoes on and tell myself I would do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come and I'd have that same conversation with myself that I need to trim my toenails and put my shoes on, and I'll do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow turns into 2 weeks fast, and that was a really bad pet peeve. But I do really good now of trimming my toenails.
Okay, that was gross, and more than the whole world needed to know.
We said real marriage.
Okay. One of the things that we have talked about, though, is that it's funny how I feel like the things that are pet peeves and irritants, they become not less irritants, but I realize it becomes a less of an irritant because we realize that it really actually has helped shape us and grow us closer together. And you kind of realize that part of Pat has a high energy level. If you didn't know that, you haven't been around him ever. So he wakes up at a level 4, and I wake up at like a half, maybe a 1. And so he just wakes up excited, ready to go. And, and so I like to ease into my day and everything. And so I've just realized, though, that's who he is. And he just brings me joy, and I do enjoy when he's on a mission trip, though. So
gives you a nice break from those pet peeves, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying the more that you get along, the less those pet peeves annoy you at this time.
Yeah, you just accept that that's the way God made them, and it's...
She's flawed.
She's flawed.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So tell us, Olivia, what are your kids' ages?
So Jack is 8, Wyatt is 5, Clara is 3, and Callie is 1.
4 young kids, everybody under 10, elementary school and younger. So what have you guys done to engage the entire family at the same time? How do you make time for everybody and try to keep everybody on the same page?
It's not super easy. We have 2 really important things that we do. The first is we do dinner at least 6 nights a week together at the table, all of us, and we talk together and we laugh and we spill a lot of milk. And the other thing that we do that we started when Jack was in kindergarten was we call it family movie night. And every Friday night we cook Totino's Pizza on the Traeger and watch a movie as a family. And sometimes mom and dad don't make it through the whole movie, and sometimes crying babies don't make it through, but it's something that our kids can look forward to every Friday. And also trying to find a way to for Kyle and I each to make personal connections with each of the kids is it's actually something he's really good at.
Yeah, that for me, growing up, my dad refused to eat dinner away from the kitchen table, and whether he sat alone, and as a young kid, that was something that I never understood. But now having kids, that is more important to me than ever. Just that time together, that connection, that routine has really proven to be something that's, I would say, vital to the health of our family.
Absolutely. Good, genuine time spent together. All right, next question up that we have for you is, what do you fear most about the future? Again, you've only been married for 8 months. What is something that is just unknown, that you don't know about the future, what marriage looks like 10 years from now?
I think just like you said, the unknown is scary, and how are we going to handle that? And hearing people's stories with children, how are we going to handle children? What kind of parents are we going to be? I just think it's all kind of daunting.
I will go after that too. I think the whole unknown is the next, you never know what the next 10 years is going to have in hold for you. So
we didn't think we'd be doing church on the internet today either, so exactly. I get that.
So when I think about this question, I think about all the different hardships of life that brings. And I just think the biggest one being, kids and buying a house, what we're doing right now. It's very scary because houses are very expensive. I'm learning that. And then on top of that, how we handle different situations. And one of the biggest things is COVID-19. And it's been very hard because we're both essential employees. So we've been spending a lot of time at work. And it is kind of scary just to see what different challenges life has for you. So that's my answer for that.
The second question for you is, how have you handled the topic of discipline and trying to create consistent practices when you have so many parents involved?
Actually, in that area, I think we've done a pretty good job. We have a pretty good relationship with his ex, and we actually will have chats with all three of us and the kids. We'll address it together and say, hey, one got in trouble at our house, lost their phone, it continues to the next. That does take a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of cooperation and swallowing a lot of pride. And it takes a lot of effort because, that baggage we referred to a minute ago, that doesn't go away. And you have to set that aside for the better of the kids to make sure they're on. And it does take everybody involved to make it work. But we try to stay consistent. We do tell them, hey, some things are different at our house. It is what it is. That's life. Yeah, you. It is what it is, and that sometimes isn't easy. So.
Yeah, she hit it right on the head. It's, everyone talks about communication, but it's even more so when you have that blended family. You got to make sure that not only are you staying in communication between us, but that we're relaying the expectations that we have at our home to the children, and that the children are able to carry that with them so that that expectation follows them. So making sure to stay on track with that.
Lots of group texts.
Next question for you two is, how do you plan your days and lives successfully? I know that you both have a lot of work that you do, not only for the church, but also outside the church and in your daily lives, and obviously managing the schedules of 2 high school students, or soon to be high school with Libby. And what do you guys do to successfully plan your day and make time for everything?
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. We do calendar coordinating together, but I think one of the biggest things...
Can you describe that?
Yes, we sit down almost every Monday with our calendars, and we go through a typical week, and just what do you have this day? Are you going to be here? Okay, then I'm going to be driving Libby to this, and can you pick her up? Or who's going to be here for this then? And a lot of times what we found is arguments in our marriage early on came because of expectations that were put on the other person without them even knowing it. I
thought it was because you were late. I'm sorry, go on.
Don't bring that up. We don't have the time to deal with that. But, I would think, well, I have this going on, so I'm sure he'll be here to help with the kids. But I had that expectation, and I hadn't really shared that with him. And so when we sit down with calendars and I say, I have Bible study that night, would you be able to help with the kids? and actually express that instead of just having this expectation, we realized it cut down on a lot of arguments and a lot of just miscommunication and things like that. And also for me, being able to say, by the time I get to Thursday, boy, I'm going to really need some help on Friday because Thursday is going to wear me out. And so really communicating not just about our schedules, but about our emotional needs in a week, about what our perceived help could be, where I could actually use some extra encouragement during the week, those kind of things. So that has really helped our marriage, cut down on arguments and miscommunications.
She just bosses me around, and it works out great. No, she nailed it. What she said there keeps us on track. And I think the other thing is, I think we're really good about communicating throughout the day if things do change. Like, hey, I've had this appointment canceled. I'm going to be home early. Hey, I had an additional appointment today, and I'm running later. So just clear communication has been a huge help in our marriage.
All right, next question for you guys. What are you most anxious about in the next 10 years? And why I ask this is your oldest, Jack, is 8. So 10 years from now, that puts him at 18, just getting ready to leave the house or have left the house. All the other kids will be in middle and high school. What makes you most anxious about that, especially with 4 children and obviously for the sanity of both of you?
I'm going to say 2 words. Clara Grace. And I'm going to say one more word. 13. No, in all seriousness, 3 teenagers. Jack would be graduating from high school. And I think we both are a little anxious about holding it all together still. We have one boy who's very sports driven. We have one who spins in circles, and just going in different directions so that they can find their passion and us being able to keep up. I think that's kind of one of the anxieties we both have.
I think a lot for me is during this time that we're kind of all going through right now, it's never a conversation that my dad sat me down and said, one day as a man and you have a family, you'll have to deal with this.
With the pandemic?
With COVID-19. And I tried to have a conversation with my boys last night that I was informed after the fact was way above their head. But how do you prepare young men to deal with situations like this when they're husbands and fathers? It's not something that you're prepped necessarily as a man to deal with, and how do you what we all thought were essential businesses or jobs may not be true anymore, and how do you alter your conversations to direct them in that path, or how do you know? And it's a lot of just what can I teach my boys, knowing what I know now that maybe I wasn't taught or my dad wasn't prepared to teach me or didn't know, that I can instill in them now to kind of help them deal with similar situations. A lot of it's just of, you put your head down, you work hard, you provide for your family, you praise God for what you do have and prep them the best that you can.
Great answer. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's very important in these times that it can keep all of us very anxious to make sure that we're planning and preparing our kids for the unknown, and that's what none of us know. So great advice there. So speaking of that, you did mention that both of you are essential employees. Maybe you could share a little bit more about what you do, but the next question is, how do you guys keep things together? How do you keep your marriage fresh with such demanding careers, even in this, pandemic time that we're in today?
I think the biggest thing to do is to make the time that we have together count. Even though we might not have so much time together, we definitely make it count. So quality time, listening to each other, telling each other stories, and just really being with each other and making it count, especially on our days off.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like Patrick and Hannah talked about last week, sometimes when he brings hard stories home or I bring hard stories home, I'm a nurse and he works at he's a deputy, so lots of interesting things, and it's good to ask, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to give advice, or what are you looking for? I think just in how to best support him, and also knowing that we're not gonna save each other. I think we definitely are like, okay, have you prayed about this, or things like that, because we can't be each other's everything in that area, because we're not enough in that for each other. So.
Let's get to a positive one here. What is the most rewarding surprise that you've seen blending your families together?
I think, there's all kinds of different surprises. I think a couple of the ones that I've enjoyed the most are being able to step into a role, like in this case for Ryan, stepping into a role that I didn't know I was going to have to, and be a part of him growing up, knowing that I've also got my children that are looking up to me. So it was adding another wrinkle to that, going, hey, this is somebody who already has a dad. I don't have to take over that role, but I get to play and have fun and get to enjoy that time without an expectation, and just open love. It's been a fun thing to grow with. And then watching them all get closer together, watching them grow up and becoming just like brothers and sisters, where they fight like cats and dogs, and then they love each other and snuggled on the couch watching a movie crying. So I think that was something I don't know that I necessarily expected, but it was a pleasant surprise to watch them blend together at their own pace as they got older.
Thanks, Steve. Shannon?
I think I would agree with that. Ryan was an only child prior to this, and he had 3 children. So it was definitely interesting. They'd never been alone. They always had siblings. They always went together. They were a pack. And poor Ryan was like, I remember one time, he'll kill me for telling this story, but he's sitting at the door with the dog, and I have a picture of it looking out the window going, are the kids here yet? Are the kids here yet? Because he was on his own. And so it was kind of neat to... I struggled with fertility issues, so I was only able to have 1 child, and I always wanted a big family. Didn't know this was how I was going to get it, but here we are. But it has been awesome seeing him, have siblings and get to experience that, because I have brothers, and I was kind of sad for him that he wasn't going to get to experience that. But
God's always working upstream, absolutely. And sometimes he throws a wrinkle in there, like, you guys are a house divided, so Florida State or Florida, and why?
Florida State, you don't get the mic. I'll answer this question.
Perfect.
I don't need the mic.
Yeah.
All right, final question today is, we have another couple over here, Steve and Shannon, but anybody that can relate to you guys, what advice would you give to anybody who's been married less than 23 years? Maybe what's the one piece of big advice that you would like to pass on to that next younger generation or younger married couple from what you've learned in your experience?
One bit of advice I would carve out or explain or share with you guys is just make your relationship important. It gets put on the back burner so easy because of work and duty and responsibilities and kids. I think the phrase that was used in here earlier tonight was, we have some soul suckers. These kids, they take so much out of us, and next thing you know, you look at each other and you're like, what's your name again? Who are you? And this is supposed to be the person that God has called you to be one with. So my encouragement to you guys is make it a priority. Put date nights on the calendar. You'll make every appointment for your kids and every game and every rehearsal that they have, but man, next thing you know, you haven't been on a date in months. And so I just want to encourage you guys, make it important in your life to spend time with each other.
Yeah, I would say laugh. Patrick and I have the motto, laugh or cry, or sometimes do both. But we've tried to always laugh. There's always something you can laugh about. Laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take your marriage too seriously. Don't take parenting too seriously. I've shown up to pick up my kids from school with foils in my hair. I mean, it's just, if you cannot laugh at yourself and this life, it is going to be a long haul. So just try to laugh and have fun. And you're going to get through, and your kids will, they won't go to college in diapers and, some things like that. And so try to major in the majors and minor in the minors, and try to laugh and take a deep breath sometimes. And we've tried really hard to do that, and just step back sometimes and go, okay, you know what? Let's just laugh and we'll put on a funny show. We love watching comedies and just making an effort in this world to step back and find joy. It's important.
Well, thank you guys very much for sharing and giving us a look into your real marriage and sharing that advice with the other families of Traverse. Thank you for your time. Last question for you guys. What advice do you have for newlyweds like Nicole and Luke and any other newlyweds that may be in our church? What advice would you give them? Because I know, again, your marriage has been nothing but rainbows since day one. So
Yep.
please share.
So I think even going back before newlyweds, anybody that is dating or engaged, like my biggest thing that I would say is premarital counseling and postmarital maintenance. To quote a philosopher, Patrick Lightfoot, he says, we do maintenance on our cars, we do maintenance on our furnaces, we do maintenance on every part of our life, and we don't do maintenance on our marriages. And that has literally been key to surviving the last 9 years. And 4 children has been just checking in on our marriage with another accountability partner. And so that has been a big thing. Also, I would say finding a way to delight in your husband and delight in your kids individually. So finding the thing that you can do that makes a connection. So, I joke about my little Claire Grace, but she sparks joy for me, and it's that interaction and taking time with our kids draws your marriage together too, because you can enjoy each other as you enjoy your kids. So.
Kyle, Luke is sitting immediately to your left, a young man, married just 8 months. What advice would you give for Luke and others in his position? I'm sure this is going to be great.
It's going to be deep. I would say, if I could give any advice, it would be create a strong foundation. That is something that we continue to do and continue to build on. And there's a lot of times that I think that strong foundation, that strong base can carry you through a lot of tough times. If you have a good base from the beginning, good, ground level, you can always rely on that and depend on it. And I would just do everything you could to build that before you get into some of the tough times that are inevitable and you'll never get away from, and they're coming, and man, they're coming. Just build a strong base and a good foundation.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Kyle and Olivia, for sharing as well, and for the advice that you give to future young married newlywed couples, and we'll continue to pray for your marriage as you guys live that out. So, Luke and Nicole, I appreciate you sharing some of the things that you guys have gone through in your short marriage here, and obviously what challenges you face and some things that you fear. The final question for you two is, what advice would you give other people in this same season of life? Maybe they're approaching an upcoming wedding, maybe they're newly engaged, or maybe they're even still single. That probably wasn't too long ago for either of you. So what advice would you give to those in a season of life before you?
I think the best advice I could give is to really enjoy that moment and take lots of pictures and remember the memories and I just remember it as best as you can, because it goes by really fast. And like Nicole said earlier, it feels like it's 2 minutes underwater, and some of that's true, but most of it you just want to remember most of it with the pictures and everything like that. So really just enjoy this moment of life, because it goes by fast.
I think looking forward to marriage, when we were engaged, one of the big things we did was talk about expectations of being a husband and a wife. Like, we didn't know, as a wife, do you expect me to cook every single meal? As a husband, do I expect you to do all the yard work? Like just talking about those things ahead of time, because it's easier to talk about them before they come up.
Luke and Nicole, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing some of the advice that you have and obviously things that you're facing in your marriage. And we hope to see where you guys go in decades from now. And thanks for sharing. All right, last question for you, Steve and Shannon. What advice do you have for other families looking to blend? And I guess what would be that best piece of advice, whether they are blended today or if that's something that somebody's experiencing?
I would say, like most people have said, you have to communicate it. There has to be honesty, and like Patrick and Hannah said, sometimes it's brutal honesty. You have to go into it knowing that there's going to be challenges, and you have to look for the best in those moments when those challenges come, and to be able to work it out together and be successful through it.
I would like to start with The Brady Bunch was a sitcom, meant to be funny, not real. Definitely don't go into it thinking it's going to be rainbows and unicorns in The Brady Bunch, because it's definitely not. I think, like you said earlier, we talked about earlier, it has a lot of positives, and we don't want to make everybody think that don't do it. It's great in a lot of ways. But remember, you're bringing together a lot of different personalities. You've brought kids together that have been raised in different environments, and you've now changed their entire environment and their parents, and you're bringing in other parenting styles, other communication styles, other personalities that they're not comfortable with and they haven't been with. So I think patience and grace would be the two things I would say the most, like even over communication, because, it's very important, but patience and grace is probably where you just got to stop and remember we're all people. We're all have our own, way of dealing with things, because, definitely it's been interesting to watch how each kid none of them dealt with it all at the same time. It seemed like they all went through different phases of coming to a place where we feel more blended. And it takes a lot of time. We're at 7 years. We've been together, 9? And they're still, for the most part, seems like it's all smoothed over, but we still have moments where we're like, oh, there it is. So.
I should also mention that all of your kids are teenagers, right? So that adds another level of complication.
16, 15, 14, and 13.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys very much for sharing with us today. We obviously wish you the best, the very best in your very real marriage. Yes. And we will definitely pray for you. Thank you for sharing.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for spending some time with us here Sunday morning and sharing openly. I know this can be nervous, not just in front of a camera, but in front of a whole church. And you guys, I just applaud you for your honesty, your openness, and willing to share. And so we're going to close with a word of prayer, and then we'll be done for today. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we love you, and we're so thankful for today that we get to gather. We get to close out the series, Real Marriage, and being with real marriages. Lord, we shared some stuff today that was open and honest and humorous and just from the heart, God. And we just wanted, we felt this was the best way to end this series that had some very deep topics, some difficult topics. And Lord, the thing that I took away from today is that what Minnie said, this is a relationship built on tears and joy and frustrations, and every emotion, Lord, was described today. We talked about grace and flexibility and patience, Lord. And so I just pray you equip your church, your people, to be the marriages and the oneness that you desire. And so, Lord, we're just grateful for this time. We're grateful for this series. And again, just grateful for each of these families. I pray that you bless their marriage, continue to use their marriage to be a light into this dark world, and that the gospel will be seen in their marriage, Lord, that they would die to one another. And that's what you did for us through your son, Christ. And we're beyond grateful for that. So thank you for today. We love you and we trust you. It's in the powerful name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. Hey, we've come to our time in the service where we're going to take up an offering and also take communion together. And so before we do that, I want to share with you a picture. The picture that you now see on the screen is a picture that I received this week, and those boxes probably look really familiar to you. If you were with us on Super Bowl weekend, we packed those particular boxes, and they have arrived in Haiti. And so the good that we did on Super Bag Sunday, almost 2 months ago, people are going to start receiving those meals. And so, church, I just wanted to tell you thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so proud to lead this church and the things that you do to give, to promote the gospel, but to also help those who are in need. There's a couple of ways that you can give. On the bottom of your screen, you can either give online through our website or you can give through the church app. So I'm going to pray both now for our offering and for our time of communion. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we're so grateful for today. Thank you for what you continue to do in and through the generous hearts of this church. And Lord, we're going to take up an offering and celebrate communion. And the word that just keeps coming to my mind is just generosity, God. You've put this seed of generosity in the life of this church. They give faithfully, Lord. And so as we take up this offering, I pray that you would bless it to further your work, to make you famous, not just here, but around the world, Lord. And Lord, as we pause to take communion, Lord, this is a reminder of how generous that you are, that you made a way that we would have eternal life with you, and that your kingdom is not just an eternal kingdom, but it's a kingdom here and now. And we're so grateful to live under your kingship, under your lordship. And so as we take this communion, may we be reminded of how generous of a God that you are. Lord, we love you and we trust you. It's in the powerful name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. Hey, just a few quick announcements before we are done for the day. The first one is Easter Sunday is coming up. It is on April 12th. We're going to do services at 9 and 10:30 online, and we've got some homework for you to do. Here they are. Number one, we want you to invite some friends and host a watch party. It's been amazing to see how much traffic we've generated and how many people have been visiting Traverse, not physically, but online. And so we want to continue to encourage you with that. The second thing that we want you to do is this. We want you to get up early, and we want you to get dressed like your Sunday best, your Easter best. Over the last several weeks, we have seen a lot of your pictures of you online in your pajamas, but this is Easter Sunday, and we're going to celebrate our risen Lord and King Jesus. And so we want to encourage you to do that by getting up, put on your Sunday's best, and then take pictures and post them on social media. And what we want you to do is do hashtag Traverse Easter 2020. Our next announcement is for what we're doing here at the Ice House. On the Ice House here during the week from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we are giving food and resources to those who are in need. Right now, the word has not gotten out, and I know many of you are wanting to volunteer, many of you are wanting to participate, but right now those resources are not going out because people just don't know that we are here. And so what we're going to implore, what we're going to ask you to do is through your social media outlets, however you can get the word out, please let people know that we are here and that those resources are available. Again, we're doing that Monday through Friday. Traverse's day is actually on Monday, and this week we won't have any opportunities for you to serve, but please let people know, and we will get you engaged as soon as we can. Hey, these are announcements for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.